Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Two Bald Guys on the Right. By the way, if you haven't taken the time to go subscribe to our channel, what the heck are you waiting for? Please go to Two Bald Guys on the Right and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification. That way you get notified every time we're posting new stuff up. Just hit that bell to get notified. What an exciting time to be an American. How many days are we away from this election, Will?
Is it 6? No, it's 5.
No, it's 5. 5 days away from the election, and it's getting down to the wire. Joe Biden has left the basement. Unbelievable. This guy is out. President Trump, I think, did 3 or 4 rallies today. Biden did 1 rally, and he's continuing to talk about Hunter. What? No, I don't know what you're talking about. I swear. I didn't have anything to do with any of his dealings out there. And we're wondering where Hunter Biden is. Why hasn't he come out and defended his dad?
Oh.
If somebody was saying something horrific about my dad, I would be there to defend him to his last breath. Where is little Hunter?
They've never denied that that's Hunter's laptop either. Have you noticed that?
No. So it's crazy. We got a lot of things going on. There's a big scandal going on, and about voter harvesting. And this whole idea about voter harvesting, we had a story coming out of Minneapolis earlier in the year. James O'Keefe did the story about voter harvesting and the Ian Omar district, and pretty much said that she knew about it. But this time, this story takes a turn, and it's actually a Republican voter harvesting. And Will, I don't know about you. I was like, wait a second. This guy is an Hispanic, Jewish,
homosexual. And homosexual.
Yeah, I left that out. Homosexual. And I went, huh? So
I don't know how those things mix, and a Republican. So he's supposedly
and a Republican.
But the sad part is, the way that they're doing the lady that's doing this ballot harvesting is clearly a Democrat, and she's encouraging people to vote Democrat except for him. He's so basically she's going to these Democratic districts, and she's saying, okay, you're voting straight Democrat except for my guy.
Right. And what she does, she goes to people that are low income and elderly, and she gives them gifts. At one point, they were doing beer for ballots, where she would buy them buckets of beer if they would go ahead and vote the way. And the way this would work, she would deliver the ballots in a lot of cases with the people that she wanted to vote for already checked off, and all they had to do was sign off on it, and then she would actually take them and go mail them off. So what a scandal.
Where do you think this is happening, guys? You think this is New Jersey, New York, California? Nope. San Antonio, Texas. Yep. Bexar County, Texas.
And I would think that the Attorney General of Texas would be looking into these matters. But
that's what I've heard.
It takes like independent journalists like James O'Keefe and the organization that he is part of, and
Project Veritas.
To discover these. And I was just blown away. Now, the whole thing is about 8 minutes long. So I cut it down to a couple minutes because our podcast is only a 30-minute podcast. But you can go to their Facebook page or their website, and they're on Twitter also, and check it out. It's amazing what this lady was doing, and she was pretty proud of it. She said that at one point she changed the votes for 7,000 people.
Which is huge.
That's huge. A lot of times we have elections that are so tight that, there's 10 vote separation. So if we get people that are cooking the books.
There was one lady in particular that I saw in the video where she actually convinced her. She had voted for mostly Democrats, but one Republican, and she convinced her throughout to change it to all Democrat except for her one guy, which was additional. I guess there were 2 Republicans, her guy and one other guy. And she changed the other guy.
Right. John Cornyn is the guy they're trying to get out of office, and her guy, the gay Hispanic Jewish
Republican.
Guy. Yeah. I mean, look, my kids are made up of Hispanic, Irish, French, but I mean, gay, Hispanic, Jewish. I think that trumps us. I think that trumps the whole idea. But
And Republican on top of it,
yeah, and
supposedly.
Republican on top of that. This guy evidently has a lot of money because basically he handed her credit cards and said, buy them gifts, do whatever you want. So let's roll the video and then we'll discuss it about voter harvesting going on in the state of Texas. And giving gifts for voting is actually against the law last time I checked.
Raquel Rodriguez, how are you doing? This is James O'Keefe with Project Veritas. We have you on tape admitting to coercing voters and bribing voters with gifts. This is you on video telling someone who to vote for, which is a violation of federal law and state law.
Now, you know on here, you chose a Republican, not a Democrat, right?
Can I do that?
You can vote for whoever you want, but our conversation that we had, you said you were voting for Hager because you were going straight Democrat. So that way you're voting for the straight down. Is that what you want to do, correct? And she's like, well, yeah, you know what, you're right.
And
You're
then
right.
she changed, I mean, she was clearly voting for John Cornyn.
Do you think it's okay to change people's votes for them like you did with Ms. Do you think that's acceptable?
I refuse to talk to you right now.
You're on tape doing it. Do you not see that? Look at this.
This is what they've asked me to say, so no.
Okay, but you actually did that.
I'm done. I'm leaving.
Well, we're going to leave with you if you're going to leave. Because you bragged.
I don't want to talk.
You bragged that you and your partner go into polling booths with voters and sign an affidavit that you can enforce. Do you think that's legal?
That's a lie. You're lying.
I want the biggest candidate. Everybody's mad.
Which one's that?
Model. I got the millionaire. A millionaire that's like, go do whatever you need to do. Here's all my credit cards. I don't take advantage of him. I tell everybody, I don't work for man, I work for God. And he knows what I need.
How many times have you done this before? That's not a joke, ma'am. You're on tape and you've broken the law.
I didn't break any law.
How many times have you done this in the past?
Never.
I love your Michael Kors mask. Okay. She was a little shocked, I would say.
Wow. So this guy has given her credit cards and told her, go buy votes for me, basically. And if that's not scary enough, we don't have to worry about Russian collusion. We've already got collusion in elections. And this is why mail-in ballots, to me, are problematic in themselves. If
Absolutely.
we got one lady that is out there harvesting 7,000 ballots, and in the long piece that James O'Keefe did, she actually talked about she's got ballots already filled out, and then all she does is go and says, this looks good to you? Go ahead and sign it right here.
If I'm a Democrat, I'm just as pissed off about this. Because what if they're changing your vote? What would stop a Republican from doing the same thing to the Democrats? The whole thing, one of the things that we're supposed to be able to rely on is that when we cast our ballot, it's actually cast the way we wanted it, not changed later and not influenced into, having these people who are low educated or not sure being pressured or bribed to vote the way you want them to.
And that's exactly right. She's buying people buckets of beer for them to cast their ballots. And then she's also, the lady that was on the tape, she brought her a scarf. And,
shawl.
As part of here's what you get for voting. Thank you so much for doing business with us. So this
and then bragged
busted.
about it later in the video. Watch the whole video from Project Veritas if you haven't seen it, because it's pretty crazy.
It is, and she should be in jail. She should be in jail. And you know what? The guy that's running the campaign, that she has his credit cards and this and that, he should go to jail also. I don't care if he's a millionaire. I don't care if he's a candidate. I really do not care. Well, we got great news today. I don't know if you've seen this, but the GDP has gone up. And now look, Joe Biden basically wrote this off. Joe dismissed the record economic growth as not nearly enough to dig out of this deep recession. So the GDP, the growth rate in the United States, averaged 3.6% from 1947 to 1920, reaching an all-time high of 33% that happened this third quarter. And amazing that we have seen that. And by the way, the second quarter, we had a 31.4. So we have seen economic growth, and there's nobody better to dig us out of this recession than Donald Trump. What exactly is Joe Biden going to do? We're going to bring back the shovel-ready jobs? We know who got rich from that, and it wasn't the working stiffs.
We know what he's going to do. He's going to tax us into oblivion. He's going to completely crater the oil and gas industry in an effort to prop up this new energy sector that is not sustainable yet. It's problematic at best.
And the whole thing, look, do we still have people on unemployment? Are we still in a terrible situation? Yes. If these Democratic governors would open up their state and people would start burning gas and getting back to work and getting back to everything, look, I get it. I got 2 kids that are sitting, at home in their own apartments wondering how they're going to pay bills because they got laid off. I get it. And you know what the boss said? People are not spending money right now. We got to get the oil and gas industry going so people have money. And that doesn't affect everybody in the United States, but it dang sure affects a lot of people. There's a trickle-down effect to the energy sector, no doubt. No doubt, especially in states that are run by oil and gas, including Texas, New Mexico, and the list goes on and on. So we know what Joe Biden's going to do, and we saw what happened under Obama, and Donald Trump needs to be elected again. Donald Trump needs to be elected again. And with good conscience, even if I was a Democrat, I could not vote for Joe Biden after finding out everything that's going on with Hunter Biden. And we can blame Hunter all day, but it was Joe. It was Joe. By the way, Joe's
the one that let him do what he did and get on Air Force Two and make these deals in his name and allow access to his name, because it wasn't because of some awesome education or some awesome skills that Hunter possesses. This was 100% because of Joe Biden.
So we're going to get into Bobulinski coming up in just a second in the interview that he had with Tucker Carlson. But first, Joe Biden was questioned about Hunter. And he went on to say that his son, Hunter Biden, is one of the smartest guys I know. The smartest guys I know. I wonder what companies he worked for before he went to work for the oil and gas company in Ukraine and then started making these deals with foreign companies. Because there are none. There are absolutely none. So it looks like sooner or later this is going to come down and there will be an investigation. By the way, the FBI, not FBI, but the Senate has come out and said they've verified everything that Bobulinski said has been verified. They went through the timetable, and all these emails and text messages have all been verified. Unbelievable. Tucker Carlson had a great show the other night when he interviewed Anthony Bobulinski. First of all, they had 7.6 million people that tuned in to watch. By the way, it was the #1 cable show in that time slot in the history of cable TV. 7.6 million people watched. We got to think about this. NBA championships didn't get 7.6 million viewers. Tucker Carlson talking to Bobulinski about the Bidens actually got more people.
Wow.
Unbelievable. By the way, did it finish ahead of Game 6 of the World Series? I think it came in. I think it was #2 behind the. Think about this: the World Series. So it was #2 behind the World Series. Unbelievable! Wow. But what a show! And last night, Tucker Carlson was supposed to receive a package with just a cachet of information, damning information on Joe Biden. So the UPS package comes, but the documents were missing. Well, today, UPS found the documents. And about midday, Matthew O'Connor, the UPS Senior Public Relations Manager, told the Business Insider that they have found the documents and they're back on the way to Tucker Carlson. Tucker did not get into where the documents came from, but he said there were damning information about Joe Biden 4 days away from the election. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And so UPS has found the documents. What happened, we don't know. And probably won't know.
No.
Next time, try FedEx, maybe.
Oh,
Don't try the U.S. Postal Service. I'm just saying.
right.
I love the local workers at the post office, but I just got to say, you know who they're backing, and it's Biden.
Right. Yeah.
So Tucker Carlson sits down with Anthony Bobulinski and goes into great detail about why he came forward. And he came forward because his name was being tarnished. He said his family, he's been in the military, had the highest security clearance, worked for our military. His grandfather and father were military. And he said for him, the Bobulinski name really means something. So he goes into great detail on why he came forward. And Adam Schiff had something to do with that, why he came forward. Well, let's go to tape number 1, if we would, Will.
And to have a congressman out there speaking about Russian disinformation, or Joe Biden at a public debate referencing Russian disinformation, when he knows he sat face to face with me, that I was traveled around the world with his son and his brother, to say that and associate that with my name is absolutely disgusting to me.
So he also talks a lot in the next segment about how he got started with the Bidens. And he actually met Joe Biden after Joe Biden got finished a speech. And Joe Biden told him to take care of his son and his brother, Jim Biden. And Fox News has been camped out in front of Jim Biden, Jim Biden, whatever you want to call him, in front of his home. And he's basically said, no comment, leave me alone. But Bobulinski gets into more details about the Bidens and about exactly what happened.
I was at the end of my rope. And so I called Rob Walker and I told him that if that statement isn't retracted by Congressman Schiff by midnight on Sunday, that I was going on record and I was disclosing all the facts to the American government, to the American citizen, and the world. I was hoping the Bidens would do the right thing, or Schiff would retract his statement, but I could not allow another minute, another hour, or a day for my family's name to be associated or muddied up around Russian disinformation. So even as I sit here today, I would ask the Biden family to come on record and stop using my name or associating it with Russian disinformation. It's absolutely disgusting.
So he actually recorded the phone conversation when he called Rob Walker. Now, Rob Walker is an associate who works directly for the Biden family. And he recorded, here is that conversation he had with Rob Walker.
But basically, Rob's position was, if you go on record with all these facts, you'll bury all of us.
If he doesn't come out on record, I am providing the facts.
Tony, you're just going to just bury all of us, man.
You're going to bury all of us, man. And you know what? He probably will bury all of it. I don't know. I truly believe that there are still people that are going to vote for Joe Biden no matter what comes out. You could have pictures of Joe Biden and doing terrible things with children, and they would still vote for Joe Biden. They would say it's photoshopped or something.
Thus is their hate of Trump. Thus is their hate of Trump. Because this has very little to do with love for Joe Biden, and it has way more to do with the hate for Trump. And I'm sorry, but at some point, the Democrats have to look in the mirror and say, why do I hate this man so much? And then look at the reasons why you hate him, and look at the times we've picked those reasons apart, and how the disinformation of the left and the mainstream media continues to portray him in unfavorable lights. I'm not saying he's perfect.
No,
but show me a politician that is. Show me a politician
Show me a man that is. Show me
Please.
a man that is perfect.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk all day about things that Trump has said that he probably, if he could take it back, he would take it back. But you know what? That's why we elected him. A non-politician that is not afraid to say what is on his mind. So Bobulinski wraps it all up in the next segment about exactly his timetable. And let me just say, the guy has voicemails. He's got text messages. He lays it all out, and he talks about the timeline of who the Bidens were talking to and exactly what were they settling, what were they peddling. Access is what they were peddling.
Yeah. And over what time frame?
So obviously, as we already discussed throughout 2015 and 2016, while Joe was still the sitting vice president of the United States, these guys had been doing extensive work around the world in places like Oman, Luxembourg, Romania, that I was being made aware of, but I obviously hadn't come off the bench and agreed to be part of this.
I'm sorry, I've got to interrupt you there. Oman, Luxembourg, Romania.
Correct.
So they don't speak any of these languages. Neither one of these guys has any record of success in business. Neither one has a background in international business. Why would they be doing business in Oman, Luxembourg, and Romania?
Because they have relationships and they have the Biden name that they're able to set up meetings and get people to jump through hoops in an interest to garner favor with the sitting vice president, Joe Biden.
So wow. So he just said it. He laid it all out. And he's got the emails to back it up. He's got the voicemails. He's got pretty much everything. And I think the story's out there. The number one searched item on Google this week has been, can I take back my vote once I voted?
How can I change my vote?
Yeah, how can I change my vote? How can I change my vote? Wow. Now, the only way you could change your vote if you didn't mail in your ballot and you go and sign the affidavit that you never mailed it in, you can vote in person in a lot of states.
In a lot of states, not all of them.
Not all of them, but it differs among states. And so the president is, maybe going to get some of these people voting going, I can't stand with these guys. I can't stand Trump, but I can't stand with Joe Biden. And you know what really gets me? The comments about vote for me. You know my character. Yeah, now we do know your character. We know you've been a politician for 47 years. What could you hang your hat on? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing except corruption and bribery and a lot of stuff that the American people don't want to have anything to do with.
And the crazy thing is that if Biden is not willing to work hard now, you think he's going to work hard as president? I mean, this guy has run the most lax campaign in the history of politics. And if he's not going to work hard now before he gets elected, if you think he's going to work hard once he gets elected, you're crazy.
Amen.
He's been in the bunker most of the time and the basement, taking an afternoon nap while the president has been out there doing his job and putting on these rallies. Unbelievable. So do you believe that Joe Biden's ahead in the polls?
Personally, I don't, but I don't believe the polls. Makes me nervous.
I believe that Joe Biden is not ahead in the polls, and I believe that it's part of the bigger conspiracy from mainstream media to say, I told you so. I told you there was corruption out there. That's the way Trump won. Because me personally, I think Trump's going to win big. And I think the Republicans, not only Trump, I think the Republicans are going to win big because I'm finding more African Americans voting Republican. I'm finding more Hispanics voting Republican. And we need that because the Republican Party as a whole is getting old. It's made up of a bunch of old white guys. So we need that new blood in the Republican Party. Look, today, Lil Wayne came out and said he's voting for Trump and gave the endorsement. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Little push. I don't even know who that is, Will. But
you mean Lil Pump? Yeah, Lil Pump.
Yeah, Lil Pump, whatever his name is. Little push, a little pump, whatever. He endorsed. Right? He endorsed. Now, 50 Cent's endorsed him, but that kind of got changed when Chelsea Handler came out. Whatever.
Well, yeah, because she pressured him into one. And did you hear how she said that he's not black? Because she had to remind him that he's black and he can't vote for Trump. It's her words on Jimmy Fallon.
Wow. So if you have a mind of your own, you're not black. That's what the way
Apparently.
it comes across to me. And that's the way it comes across when Biden says stupid stuff like, the first, have you heard him talk? Like when he was talking about Biden, the first clean, articulate black man. Like he's the only one out there. And
when he's talking about Obama?
Yeah, when he talks about, black kids are just as smart as white kids. What? What? Of course they can be just as smart as white kids. Jared Kushner said something this week that got him in trouble. You heard about that, right?
No, I missed it.
So Jared Kushner is the plan that they're working on with Ice Cube, and they're trying to bring more jobs to black communities. They're trying to put economic hotspots that they can open up more black-owned businesses. And Jared Kushner said, the president can do all he can do, but we need people to, do their part. And people got offended. I'm saying, well, that would be the same with every race.
Sure.
If the government takes me to the 50-yard line, well, damn it, I need to close the deal and work my tail off to get to the end zone.
There's a lot of people out there that just don't want to have to do anything. They want to have a handout. And that's not what America was made on. It's not made for a handout. It's made for opportunity for you to get out and bust your butt. And if you do, when you do, 90% of the time you're going to succeed in one. Now it may not be to the crazy way that some of these celebrities do or some of these millionaires do, but you're still going to be able. Oh yeah, you're still going to be able to make ends meet, buy the things you want to buy, live where you want to live, and raise a healthy, happy family.
I saw a tweet over the weekend, and I don't know exactly who the guy, but he's a conservative black man, and he said, doesn't it trouble you that immigrants are going to be hiring your kids soon? Because immigrants come over here, a great majority of them, and bust their butt.
Sure they do.
And not all, but a lot of them become very, very, very wealthy and prosper because they have it in them to get out there and work their tails off. That's
because
the
they've worked their butt off before for nothing. They finally have an opportunity to work for something, and guess what? They put their all into it. And when you do that, you succeed in America. It's amazing how that works.
No doubt. And most of these people have family back somewhere that they have to feed. So it's for their family that they're doing that. Not just their family in America, but their family in another country. Michael Moore comes out and says he does not believe the polls showing Biden is leading Trump. Even Michael Moore has come out and said that 5 days away from the election, that he is alarmed. He said he doesn't believe in the polls. He said he doesn't believe that Biden has a comfortable lead on Trump. He said the polls he believes are not accurate. And so Trump has tightened the lead in Wisconsin. And I can't believe in Pennsylvania that Biden has a lead in Pennsylvania after saying what he said about fracking.
No.
Pennsylvania's an oil and gas state now. I just don't get it. So Michael Moore has said that the polls are fake news. The polls are fake news, and he said he doesn't believe they're accurate. He said he believes it's going to be a tight race, and he doesn't go on to say that Trump will win, but he said he believes the polls are fake. So even Michael Moore has come out and said that he believes that it's going to be a real tight race. I'm going to predict now. Trump will win Florida. Trump will win Texas. Trump will win Pennsylvania. Trump will win Wisconsin. And he will go on to win by not a great margin, but by a slight margin on election night. And then the next day, we'll come out and count the rest of the polls. There are several states that 3 days after elections, they will still be counting votes. It could be, who knows, this could go to the Supreme Court. But I think when it's all said and done, I think the President of the United States wins. And I think we win the House and the Senate. And I think there is going to be some movement, and then we maybe can get things done now that we own the Supreme Court also. So
that would be fantastic.
That's my pick. And we'll see on Monday, the day before the election. We'll be back on, and then we'll come on next week. And like I said, the election will not be decided Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday.
No.
I think it's going to be a little ways down the line before we can actually come up with these votes. And because some of these votes will not be counted 3 days after the election, which to me is ludicrous. And this is why I think mail-in ballots do not work. And they keep taking them to court. Well, give them an extra 3 days, like they didn't know November 3rd was coming up.
Sure.
I voted 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, same. I'm kind of curious to see what we're talking about a week from tonight. How different is it going to be a week from tonight?
I think a week from tonight, I think the polls will. I think Trump will win a couple of these states, but you can't make me believe that Texas. And look, I get it. I get it that Beto O'Rourke and Ted Cruz barely won that seat. So I get it. There's lots of liberals that are moving in to Texas, and there are lots of people but at the end of the day, I don't know how some people can vote for good conscience. Let's go back to the Veritas, the voter harvesting. The lady said, I don't vote for the man. I mean, I don't work for the man. I work for God. And that kind of stuck with me. So I started thinking, you work for God, huh? So God is okay with you cheating? I don't think so. God is okay for you taking money to commit a crime? I don't think so.
No.
And most of these Democrats are for abortion. I don't think God's okay with killing babies either. So
no.
that one sentence kind of stuck with me. When she said it, I went, so you're working for God. Huh. I didn't know God paid people to vote. I don't think God wants you to break the law. I'll get off the pulpit, but I'm just saying you don't work for God, lady. That's it. So don't forget, if you haven't voted, please get out and vote. I know in some states you can vote early up until the day before the election. I think our early voting, where me and Will live, ends on Saturday. And after that, you'll have to go in and vote the day of the election. I think there is going to be a surge of people that get out and vote on the election day, and especially Republicans, because traditionally a lot of Republicans like to vote on the election day. So get ready for it.
There you go. Get ready and make sure and hit the subscribe button if you would for us. And don't forget the notifications. Hit that like button while you're at it, too.
So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and also the bell for the notifications. God bless you guys. You have a great night. 2 bald guys on the right. Make sure and tell your friends. And please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. You guys have a great night, and we'll get ready for Monday's edition of 2 bald guys on the right. Have a fantastic night.